Welcome to Martini Time. This is a beautiful day here in Blackstone, and let's see what the frog will bring up from what golden ball of wisdom the frog will bring up from the pond of the unconscious. Do you know how that fairy tale works? The little princess has a golden ball and she drops it in the pond, and the frog says, "I'll get it for you if you take me home with you." And remember Jackie Gleason? When he would come on, he would drink his coffee, and oh, how sweet it is. It was not coffee. So anyway, I sent the frog down to come up with a talk, basically. And so what I thought I would do, since I have all these artifacts here, if you can see them all, I've got all these things I've collected here, my little artifacts of my journey, things that I collect and things that I've bought. And so I thought I would just go through here and pick one and create an improv on it, like a spiritual improv. How about that? When the Comedy Central and all that, or the comedy schools, they do improv, they give somebody a broom. Now I'll make a joke out of it. All right, so I'm just going to reach up here and make a talk out of something. Now what is this? Isn't that an interesting piece? What is that? Well, anyway, back in the, I guess in the 60s or 70s, I'm not sure, my sister went to, her husband was stationed in Scotland, and they went to Stonehenge, and she swiped this rock. I think it's illegal, but anyway, this is from Stonehenge. Stonehenge. Imagine how old this is. Imagine how old this rock is. Thousands and thousands of years old. And Stonehenge was the people are not quite sure how it worked, but it had a function. But it was a way to orientate the society with the stars, like a compass. So you would be orientated with the planets and the sun and the cosmos. And then your society, through its rituals, would always be in alignment with the universe. Always in alignment with the universe. And so your rituals then would be to reaffirm, recreate, and maintain that alignment. Just like you get your car, if your car is out of alignment, it drifts to the right or the left. So you get it realigned. So it goes straight, without effort, you see. So these ancient rituals were a way in which man got in alignment with the order of the universe through some Stonehenge, or through a pyramid, or through a cosmic mountain, or through something that was like a rock that could be depended upon, that wouldn't blow away, that wouldn't burn up, that wouldn't be washed away. So this your holy, your sacred object was that which with you maintained your alignment with God, with life itself, you see. And that's very important, because if we lose our alignment, we feel like we're in the wrong direction. We feel like we're lost. We don't know where we are. The compass is not working. And that's kind of where America is now. We've lost our Stonehenge. We've lost our alignment with the greater world. And we're kind of like, everybody's got their own compass. And none of them work, because they're all magnetic compasses. And a magnetic compass won't point to true north if you put some nail or iron next to it. So the needle's always going off, and you can't figure out why it's not going right. We're going in circles. We're going in circles because we're not pointed to the in alignment with the stars. We're not in alignment. And of course, religion comes in and says, well, you need to get in alignment with God. But that doesn't work either because the religion is part of the culture. So when the culture gets out of alignment, even religion is out of alignment because it's part of the culture. And so everybody comes up with different sub-compasses, compasses within the culture, and says, my compass is pointing to the true north, but the culture is off. And all these smaller compasses are off too because they are in alignment with the culture. So if you get in alignment with a culture, and the culture's not in alignment with the universe, well then all of your alignments are not going to work. Because you may be in alignment with a subculture, but you're not in alignment with the universe, with life, you see. And life isn't contained in a culture. So I thought about this, that, ancient cultures, and even in our science fiction, a good example is Avatar. Now, Avatar, if you recall, it's my favorite metaphor, the home tree was their alignment. And of course, the sky people came in and cut down the home tree. So the tribe went, they lost their alignment. This happened with the Incas. When Cortez, who was it that went to the, conquered the Pizarro, I forgot, but one of the conquistadors who invaded the land of the Incas, a funny thing happened. So you have the maybe about 300 or 400 Spaniards, and you had maybe 10,000 Inca warriors surrounding them. And so the Inca king was the God king. Like the flagpole, the flag, the God king. As long as the God king, the flagpole, the home tree was up, everything was aligned with that, you see. So what, I'll say Cortez, I don't think it wasn't Cortez, Pizarro, anyway. So what the Spaniard did, when they were confronted and the Inca king, the God king, came down to confront these Spaniards with his 10,000 warriors, the Spaniards just captured him, took him captured. And the whole Inca army collapsed. They had lost their center. They could not believe it. They could not compute it. They were like an ant colony. You got to go and find a rock and lift it up. There's an ant colony under it. When you lift that rock up, they go blah, 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 all over the place. And then pretty soon they realign with the queen and they're off somewhere else. But when that loss of center creates chaos. The loss of center creates chaos. So Stonehenge was pre-civilized man, was how ancient man got in alignment with the universe through rocks, through concrete forms like mountains and rocks and pyramids and things that could not be washed away. And they would create these as an alignment. Mecca with Islam is like Stonehenge. The whole Muslim empire, the whole Islam orientates itself around that Mecca. And every year, all of the it's called the Hajj, and all the Muslims that can get there, and they go and they circumambulate around it like this, you see. And this constantly gives the religion a orientation, a dynamic center, you see. So this, and so in the culture, we create dynamic centers or our own little Stonehenges, but they are subject to destruction. They're not permanent. They become dynamic centers that are really ideas that are held in flesh. Well, like a cult leader would be a dynamic center around which all of its members orientated itself. And if you took away that leader, I keep saying Trump, if you took away that leader, it would collapse. So if you take the eye out or you take the center out, the culture that orientates around it, that finds its fixed point, you see, collapses. So maybe that's what I'm trying to explain here, is that Stonehenge, as a metaphor for the center that around which a society can orientate itself, like the Queen, is a fixed point. You see, now Stonehenge is fixed. It ain't going to change. That's why they were so huge, these ancient centers, these ancient buildings and ancient monuments, you see. You go to Southeast Asia and you have these gigantic Buddhas, you know. And of course the World Trade Center was like that for us. And what happened when it came down, you see? We were like the Incas. So anyway, Stonehenge reminds me of our need for a fixed point and how threatened we are when our fixed point or our center is challenged and becomes weak, you know. And in our culture, in the West, well, I'm getting off now, so I've run out of time, so that's enough for today, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next Spiritual Improv. Thank you.